What if the room you fall asleep in is the last place your soul ever knows? Room 13 at the Ashgrove Inn has a terrifying secret. Everyone who sleeps there dies that night. Or worse, they vanish, while something else wakes up in their place. It was never supposed to be rented again. Room 13 of the Ashgrove Inn had been locked for decades, its door gathering dust, its number slowly fading like a memory best forgotten. Guests often whispered about strange sounds, knocking in the middle of the night, low moans slipping under the cracks of the sealed door. But no one dared go near it, and management was happy to pretend it didn't exist. That is, until Kayla arrived. Kayla was a freelance travel vlogger who specialized in haunted locations. With a growing YouTube channel and a thirst for the macabre, she sought out urban legends to debunk or prove. When she heard about the Ashgrove Inn, tucked away in a quiet mountain town, her curiosity lit up like wildfire. She called ahead, asking for the room no one wanted. The receptionist stuttered, tried to refuse, but Kayla insisted, offering double the rate. Desperate for business, the manager caved. The key was old, brass, and cold to the touch. "Don't say we didn't warn you," the clerk muttered as Kayla climbed the creaky stairs. The hallway grew colder with each step. The lights flickered, casting long shadows on the red-carpeted floor. Room 13 stood at the end, its door almost breathing in the silence. She unlocked it slowly. The room was surprisingly pristine, too pristine. The air smelled faintly of lavender and decay. The bed was neatly made, the curtains drawn. Yet something felt wrong. A mirror hung on the wall opposite the bed. As she walked in, her reflection lagged a second behind her. Kayla froze. Then it caught up. She laughed nervously, blaming fatigue. She set up her camera and sat on the bed. That night, she would livestream her stay. That night would be her last. The camera light blinked on. Kayla smiled into the lens, her voice chipper despite the creeping unease. "Alright guys, I'm in room 13. Yes, the infamous one. The legend says anyone who sleeps here never wakes up. So tonight we're testing it out, live." Thousands of viewers flooded in, dropping comments, daring her to stay the night. She fed off the energy, brushing off the goosebumps that prickled her arms. She gave a room tour, panning the camera across the antique dresser, the tall mirror, the painting above the bed that showed a faceless woman in a funeral gown. "Creepy, right?" she laughed. "But hey, no ghosts yet." Then the door slammed shut behind her. Kayla spun around. "Wind," she muttered, though no windows were open. She went to check the door. It was locked, from the inside. Her fingers trembled slightly as she returned to the bed. "Alright, maybe that was weird," she admitted to the chat. "But still, probably just old building stuff." Viewers kept commenting, "Did you hear that? Look in the mirror. Someone's behind you." She turned to the mirror. No one was there. Just her reflection, though her reflection wasn't smiling. Kayla blinked. The mirror showed her, expressionless. No emotion, no blinking, just a blank, dead stare. She stepped forward slowly, raising her hand. The reflection didn't move. It stood still, rigid. Then, without warning, it raised its hand in return, just a second too late. It smiled, but Kayla hadn't. The screen flickered. A loud static buzz erupted from her laptop. Her viewers began to vanish one by one, their usernames dropping out as the stream distorted into darkness. Kayla tried to speak, but her voice cracked, dry, strangled. She looked back at the bed. Someone else was lying in it, and it was her. Kayla stumbled backward, her breath caught in her throat. The figure in the bed looked exactly like her. Same clothes, same tangled hair, same fear etched on her face, but it wasn't moving. It lay perfectly still, eyes wide open, staring straight at the ceiling. She looked down at her own hands. They were trembling, but she couldn't feel them. Panic surged through her chest. She ran to the mirror. Her reflection was gone. The screen on her laptop flickered again. The live stream was still active, but now it was streaming from a different angle. An angle from the ceiling looking down on her own body. The comments were gone. No one was watching. Only one message blinked in red text across the screen. "You shouldn't have come here." The lights in the room dimmed, the air growing heavy and cold. Her ears began to ring, like pressure was building inside her skull. The walls seemed to pulse as if the room itself were breathing. Then, footsteps. Soft, dragging, echoing through the hallway. Kayla rushed to the door, but it wouldn't budge. She pounded on it, screaming, her voice echoing into silence. She turned around and froze. The painting above the bed, the woman in the funeral gown, was gone. In her place was a shadowy figure, black and faceless, arms stretched unnaturally long, fingers sharp as knives. It stepped out of the canvas, one leg at a time, as if peeling away from reality. It moved toward the bed, hovering over the still body, her body. No, no, no! Kayla shrieked, lunging forward. But her hands passed through the figure like mist. It didn't see her. Or maybe it didn't care. It leaned down and whispered something into the ear of her sleeping self. The body gasped, and then began to smile. The smile stretched far too wide, unnatural, inhuman. Kayla watched in horror as her sleeping self slowly sat up in bed, her neck creaking with each motion like dry wood bending. The shadow figure backed away into the corner, fading into the dimness like a stain sinking into the walls. It had done what it came to do. Kayla, the real Kayla, her spirit, her consciousness, was trapped, invisible, screaming inside a room that no longer recognized her. Her body now belonged to something else. The possessed version of her stood, staring blankly into the mirror. And for a moment, it was like Kayla could see herself again. Not in the reflection but inside her body, behind the eyes, pounding to break free. Then the thing inside her raised a hand and touched the mirror. Kayla felt herself being pulled toward it, drawn like gravity was reversing. The mirror's surface rippled like water. She resisted, grasping at nothing, screaming for help that would never come. You took what was never yours, a voice whispered from the mirror. It was low, guttural, ancient. Now you belong to the room. The force yanked her forward and she was slammed into darkness. Cold. What? Endless. All around her were faces, dozens of them, floating in the void. Faces of others who had slept in room 13. Mouths frozen in silent screams. Eyes wide with terror. Kayla realized the truth. The room didn't kill its guests. It took them, swallowed their souls, and left behind perfect imitations. Empty vessels, smiling, breathing, but no longer human. She was now one of them. A prisoner of the mirror world. And her body, her stolen, smiling body, picked up the camera. Thanks for watching, it said sweetly to the lens. We'll see you tonight. Weeks passed. The Ashgrove Inn saw a sudden spike in popularity. Kayla's livestream had gone viral. Her followers thought the ending was a stunt, some immersive horror performance. Everyone praised her for next-level content, oblivious to the truth. The video remained online, glitchy and unnerving, with thousands of comments wondering how she pulled it off. But Kayla never uploaded again. The innkeeper knew better. He never wanted to reopen room 13, but corporate had insisted after the video's success. Capitalize on the buzz, they said. Haunted cells. So room 13 was cleaned again, though it never collected dust, and listed as an exclusive paranormal experience. That's when Mason booked it. He was a skeptic. A blogger who believed in logic and science, not superstition. Perfect for another wave of viral fame. When he arrived, the desk clerk hesitated, his eyes shadowed with something like guilt. Be careful, he whispered, sliding over the brass key. Mason laughed. Scared of your own room? He ascended the stairs. The corridor felt colder than it should. The red carpet beneath his feet seemed almost damp. At the end of the hall, room 13 awaited. He opened the door. Inside was Kayla. She stood at the window, staring out into the night. Her eyes were wrong, too still, too empty. She turned and smiled. You're just in time, she said. I've been waiting. Mason blinked. Kayla? Is this part of the promo? She stepped forward. The door slammed shut behind him. The mirror on the wall rippled. From deep inside it, Kayla screamed, but no one could hear. No one ever did. The mirror had claimed another soul. Room 13 doesn't kill its guests. It welcomes them. And once you sleep there, you never leave.